It is a beautiful day here in the garden. It's July in Missouri and we're having wonderful weather. I'm going to garden all day long and I can't wait. But before we get to the flower garden, I want to have a look at all of my tomatoes out here in our vegetable garden. I want to make sure that everybody's sufficiently being supported by the tomato rings. This is one that I apparently missed. I want all these branches to be in this tomato ring, but where I had it positioned before I could get to them, they overshot it. So what do I do with that? Is that going to be a problem? It most certainly is not. All I have to do is just slide it up, and you're going to see how easy this is. Tomato rings could not be any easier. I'm simply going to unscrew it, slide it on up the stake. I'm going to take it up past where the bigger branches are. I'm going to gently, because they do have tomato flowers on there. I don't want to lose those. I like my tomatoes. Pull it down about so big. I can put this leaf in, but you know, you don't ever have to have all the leaves inside. What you mainly want to do is make sure that you have your main stems inside. So here I go. This looks pretty good right here. Later on, as this grows, I can move it up some more. But now look, I see that I've missed one. So this is where we get the phrase, tuck it up. The tomato ring can be bent up slightly or down slightly. In this case, I'm just going to kind of lean it up just a little bit. I'm going to grab him and just whoop. Look how easy that is. Just put them on in there. Now, as these grow, they're going to be fully supported. Now, eventually, they're probably going to need to have this moved up just a little bit. That's not hard to do, but you want to have a rule of thumb in mind, and that is that you don't ever want your topmost tomato ring, that's usually going to be somewhere around 6 feet. We say put them basically at 1 foot, 3 foot, and 6 foot, although you can fudge as your plant requires. So on this one, I'm never going to want to have my top ring more than 12 inches below the top of my plant. That's so that when that plant gets these big old tomatoes that it's going to get, that the weight of it doesn't make it bend over this ring and crease the stem. That's never good for a plant. So you just want to make sure that you always have this topmost tomato ring no more than 12 inches from the top of your plant. And that's the way we do it. I have one other thing to tell you about this while you're here, and that is that we like to do something called suckering. And here's a good example. I hope you can see this. Your tomato plant will tend to get these extra branches that start out as just a little leaflet in between two branches like this. Some people let them go, but what happens is with many tomato varieties, and this is one of them, they get to be more like a bush. They become uncontrollable, and you end up actually with more leaves than tomatoes. What we like to do, especially when that plant is younger, down in the bottom area, we like to just simply clip that out. That's going bye-bye, and now that's going to allow this to put all of its energies into these tomatoes, and in fact it's going to produce more tomatoes and bigger tomatoes because it's more about the tomatoes now instead of the leaves, and it also makes it a heck of a lot easier to support. So that's all there was to that. I can go on and check the rest of my tomatoes and then on to the flower garden.